Hello everyone and welcome to CWC F1 Tier 2 Season 6 Round 13 for the Russian GP. And I am Pepsi Freak 212, and I would normally be joined by Evil Dragon, but Evil sadly is not here today, having some internet issues. So he could join us a little bit later, but we'll have to see on that one. But he'll definitely probably be here next week. But for this week, sadly, some internet issues have kept him on the sidelines. So hopefully we will again see him here next week. But normally I would start this when we got into qualifying, but a couple drivers did ready up. But I guess we are waiting on something, so I guess we will take this time to kind of get everyone up to speed with CWC here. There was an off week last week, and 2 weeks ago was the Belgian GP, which was a very chaotic race where dry to wet tires were, wet to dry tires was a very ideal strategy, and mixed conditions caught some drivers out in the cold. And the winner of that race was, actually, I will let you give you a second here. If you do want to watch that race, you're more than welcome to. I'll give you a free second to switch off this, go watch that stream, because it was a really great race, very entertaining. All right, now that you had your time, Reds ended up winning that race, and he ended up beating Bezier in the Williams in a very close finish. And the third-place driver was the McLaren driver, who's sadly not here, who I think maybe on a part-time basis, but we'll have to see on that front. But that was your top three, with our current two championship leaders in TM King and Charlie, both not being able to show up because Charlie has just dropped out of the league entirely. He's been out of the week since, I think, Monaco or Azerbaijan, while King has missed the last couple rounds due to other commitments and maybe more of a reserve driver than a full-time driver, but they both are still 1-2 in the standings, with the next highest driver being Leslie the Twig. But with Leslie the Twig having a poor performance in Belgium, we're crashing out on the interchangeable conditions, he is still about 35 points behind the top contenders. And with a couple of drivers now showing up back up in this field here today, anyone can close that gap. So this is still long over from championship, but with the rounds coming closer to an end, and you need some drivers to have some good performances here and bring home the bacon. Actually, the third place driver was Jay. Sorry, he was here. He is here, sorry. But he's actually now in the AlphaTauri, so he was a reserve driver last week in the McLaren. And this time now he's in the AlphaTauri, replacing Disco Stu, so he is a reserve driver in question. Still waiting for this to start here. Should have started about 9 minutes ago. I don't exactly know what we are waiting on. I'll take a quick look at the Discord here. But in the constructor standings as well, Williams was able to extend their lead with AlphaTauri not getting a single points finisher. Williams was able to extend their points lead upwards in the constructors with I think Bezier getting second place, while none of the Alfa Romeos were able to score any points whatsoever. With that, now we are ready to get going here for the Russian GP here. So yeah, we are waiting generally shortly. Everyone is ready up here. Hopefully Scanny can try to carry the flag for Alfa Romeo, while Kenobi and Bezier are going to be hoping to give Williams some more points in the constructors. So we are waiting, and there we go. Session has started. So it's going to be, I believe, about 30-something laps here for the Russian GP. We have a short qualifying, as you can see on the screen here, and then about 30-something laps. Russia's a very interesting track indeed. Some would say it's boring on the actual calendar, but in game it can be a little bit fun. But it's one of those tracks where it's very DRS heavy. It's a situation where it's a lot of DRS trains, and if you can break away from that train, you will be able to pull away relatively quickly. So it's something where you need to kind of stay in the train of DRS, and if you're able to break it, you're going to be on pace to do well here today. Well, and also if you lose it, you'll be on pace to do poorly. So it's a two-way street. The undercut is ideal, as some would say, because the undercut can get you a little bit better performance here, especially if you don't get stuck in traffic. But the overcut is also no spring chicken. But if you were to ask me to take a strategy choice, I'd probably go for the undercut because it may be the better choice. But we'll have to see what all the other drivers do here at the end of qualifying. So we wait for the conditions here, and it's going to be still waiting on a nice dry qualifying here. No real bad conditions here. Everything looks clean. 18 drivers going to take it out here in Putin's homeland. Or I guess technically, if we were going to be technically honest with how the Russian... since no driver technically represent Russia or any athlete for the next 2 years, it could be the Russian Federation Alliance race, the Russian Federation Alliance 2021 CWC race, but that's more of a mouthful, so we'll just call it the Russian race since it's technically in Russia. But anyway, still waiting for the first driver to go out. Usually it would be Malik. He usually likes to go out first for qualifying, but right now everyone's still sitting in the pit lane here. You can see a little bit of action. I think that's the Renault garage. Looks like the Ferraris and John Hader's going out too. It looks like the AlphaTauri's out first. Is it going to be him? I think it is. I believe that is actually going to be Jay. Yep, Jay will be the first one out. Very strong debut. Was the pole sitter last week. And, again, just got caught up by bad strategy choice, but could easily be on pace to get a win here today as he heads out here for qualifying. So, yeah, and you can see a bunch of other drivers do heading on as well. You can see he's on a set of mediums. Well, if we pull up the tires fit strategies, he's on a set of mediums along with, I think he's the only one on his out. Also, Trape as well is on a set of mediums as well. But it looks like everyone else has gone out for a set of softs, so it looks like getting a mixed strategy here. The mediums are an ideal tire compound. But again, different strokes for different folks. We'll see how everyone decides to handle it. But I feel like if they don't put the right times down, they may be tempted to switch off to go for a faster compounded tire. So yeah, we're going to ride on board just around here. Just going to watch out through the field here. Keep an eye on everyone here. I think Jay has the 1970 F1 helmet on. It looked like the same color scheme as the current 2021 F1 trailers, which, by the way, that trailer has released. Didn't give you much information, but looks like it'll probably be the same game as this one, a little bit of tweaks and bells and whistles. So we'll wait for him to start his lap there, then I'll give you a quick one-lap rundown of the Russian GP here. So we wait for him to go through the last couple corners. Again, this corner you do want, I'm going to go too wide. I forgot to put the track back on. I'm going to do that right now. Been a little rusty. We did have a week off, so my brain may be a little bit stuck back in Belgium, but hopefully I'll get this going, and we'll be good to go and have a good run here. So we're waiting for Jay to go for the last two corners here, and he's about to start his lap in question. And here he goes. He's going to have to start on the line here. We've got a yellow flag, sector 3. Looks like someone's just going a little bit slow, but he's going to have the long run down the long straight here in the corner 1, which is not really a corner at all. It's basically just flat. Then you're going to be coming up down here. You're going to look for your braking point about the 150-meter board, maybe a little early if you're more braring on the brakes in the corner 2. This is a very easy corner to cut indeed. If you go just a little bit too wide on exit, strict corner cutting will ring you up if you put 2 wheels off on that AstroTurf. Then you want to swing around the fountain section here, hard left through 3, 4, and you want to quickly get down to the brakes here. Got to get as close as possible. Keep as much speed as you can. You don't want to lose too much, and that's the end of Sector 1. And here we come in the next couple of sections. The corner here is, again, an easy corner to invalidate like you just did right there. And you can just see it's very easy on some of these corners here because there's no bollocks and no thing to stop you that you can very just turn just a little bit too much or get a little bit too wide on exit and cost your lap dearly. We'll keep on board going with him anyway, as he's going to break into the thing, going to go about 150 meters, going to get off to the braking point, and then get up on the next long straight here, and he's going to be in the 11-12 section here again. Again, 2 corners here, they're not really corners, so you can take them flat, and then he's going to come to one of the major overtaking points on this track, but also one of the hardest, one of these off-camber corners of 13 to 14, where it feels like you can get on the brakes later, but if you go too wide, you'll compromise the exit for this corner here and really screw up your entry. Then you're going to be going through 15 here, and this is one of the last corners here where I really struggle when I drive in the game myself here, because it just feels like the traction is very wishy-washy on that section of corner where it feels like if you get the power down too early, the car will kick around. Then to the last couple corners here, and this would have been a 1:31, but obviously that time would probably fall because a lot of runners are on softs, as we see Leslie the Twig is up on his lap here along with the other drivers. Malik was at the first time with a 1:31.9, so actually maybe his lap wasn't that bad instead of mediums. Next up, you got the other the Racing Point Atrape, who's a reserve driver, and he does not set a lap. He invalidated. Then you got Leslie the Twig and Smitty going next. Leslie, and then Maddie. So Maddie sets a 1:31.4, Leslie with a 1:34.8, Malik still with 3rd, Smitty 4th, and John Hader with 5th, and times are falling as Reds now goes P2. So Leslie really needs a good showing here today. He's a good driver, good person from what I've heard and what I've seen, and he really needs a good showing here today because he needs to close the gap big time on the standings, being 3rd in line. But with Kenobi back here this week and a few other drivers around him, he needs to really get a giddy up if he wants to win this title. Then you got Malik in 5th, Kenobi in 6th, Vegan 7th, Smitty 8th, Hader 9th, and 11 on an outlap as well. Trape going around again along with Jay. We also got Berto and Bezier. Bezier's invalidated and Berto both invalidated. And it looks like actually a Renault has broken his wing off. That is the back end of the only Renault in the field of Reds. So it looks like he may have hit the wall, ran into the back of someone. I would argue he probably ran into the back of someone there because it looked like a little bit of a cluster. But yeah, you can see him going kind of slow here. We'll cut back to him. Yeah, he has broken his way off, and he's just going to try to limp around. He's still got 12 minutes to go. Set a good banker lap, so we'll have time to put something else back down. Back to Jay here. Jay hasn't validated again. We'll have to keep it clean for the race, but he's already put 2 laps on those mediums. Maybe it's time to go for a set of softs. That's what he's going to do. Bezier is gearing up for another lap here, along with Berto. Berto is on the back switch. Bezier is going down the fountain section. Little tongue-tied there. And we'll have to keep an eye on his section times here, see if he's got any taste on those mediums. Bezier joined the league after Charlie did leave the league due to a time restraint and not being able to really make this league in question. And he was able to kind of step right in, keep the flag flying for Williams, and bring Williams to his glories. He's invalidated yet again. So again, another driver that may have to keep it clean, because you could easily rack up penalties here if you're not careful. But just to finish my point on Bezier, Bezier has really taken the flag fly and flown it for Williams pretty high, and could make a late run at the championship if he can keep his foot down and keep it relatively clean and keep getting good scores. Because with King not being here and there being, I think, 5 rounds left, anything is possible. And this gap could quickly fall, because quick check at the standings. Bezier is on only 45 points, so that's a lot of points to make up, but if he can quickly rack them off with 6 rounds left, it's mathematically possible, but it isn't going to be the easiest road. But if anyone can do it, Bezier will certainly give it a try. So again, Scanny, while I was on that little tangent about Scanny jumps up to P1 with a 130, so they try to close the gap in the Alpha, and then beat by Vegan up to P4, but he's on 2 lap softs, so he should be coming in on this time by to get off those softs. 11 was on a run but invalidated. Demo's on an out lap. Trope is in the pits again, probably going to go for a set of softs. Exelic has not come out yet. Connor has not come out yet. COS Will is coming in. Oh, and he overshoots the pit lane. He'll have to slow back in. Luckily, no penalty. But in other games, I know that would probably ring you up, so got to be a little bit more careful next time, mate. Don't want to accidentally bin your car. But Will recently has joined League Racing TV as a reserve commentator, so hopefully you will be hearing him with some commentary around the rest of the leagues when someone needs a reserve driver. I mean, a reserve commentator. Hopefully you can hear him come in, and you'll hear his elegant British voice, because he is British, so he'll have a nice little British voice here. And hopefully he brings some good insight to the commentary booth, and hopefully he can do his role well. But back to qualifying here, another tangent over here. Demo's actually had a set of mediums here, and he's so far clean through the first 2 sectors, well, about to be 2 sectors. So I have to keep an eye on his run here, see what the medium times are, because no other driver on medium is able to set a good time. So I have to keep an eye on him. Something else that's just shocked me right now is Maddie has put down a 131.4, and Maddie's not really a slow driver, but Maddie's usually not someone you see up there in the front of the grid. Same thing, it seems like week after week I say about beat by Vegan, but Vegan seems like he's a good qualifier, but not really that good of a, can't really put it well in the race. Just either gets bad luck or just for some reason plays bad strategy, but he does seem like a somewhat alright driver in the field, so hopefully Vegan can kind of crack that performance here today and get a good finish. I think his best performance this season was last week at Belgium in the rain race. Actually, I think he may finish better somewhere else, but regardless, Vegan looking for a good performance here today. Is Demo going to go for the last couple corners here? Looks like it will be a 131, but where will it slot him on the grid? It's actually be a 133. That will be P9, and 11 will actually jump him just right behind Demo. She just set a time of the 131. 133.1. God, my brain is really far back. Trope on an out lap here, so we'll have to ride on board with him, keep an eye on him, along with Zelic, the Mercedes, which are currently looking for a lucky horse here. Just had some bad rounds, have gotten points, but Zelic almost scored points at Austria, but sadly, due to a steward's rule, got bumped outside the points, and 11 was able to get some points from Mercedes. So Mercedes doesn't have no points in the constructors, but Zelic probably looking to get that donut out of the point standings here today with a good performance here in Russia. So keep an eye on these drivers. Trop has just started his out lap here. D4 driver in TTML, so hopefully they can show why they're in D4. Other than that, we do have some other drivers out on laps. Smitty is currently through Sector 1. Kenobi is currently on the long straight as well, so he's not going to be for time. Lesty is actually currently through the wide sector here, so we'll have to keep an eye on him. He's up on his times. Not enough really to improve, but enough maybe to settlify him in 5th place. We also got Maddie and Scanny as well. So they're all kind of in Sector 1, Sector 2, so we'll have to keep an eye on the times, as Reds is about to start his lap as well. So we'll have to keep an eye on the whole field here. I think Zealous just started their lap as well. So the first driver up on the track is actually Lesty. So we'll ride on board with Lesty, and we'll kind of just jump around, because since Lesty, then it's going to be the Haas driver of Maddie, then it's going to be the other Red Bull driver of Will, and so on and so forth down the race, because down his out lap, and so on and so forth. So I have to keep an eye on it in accordance. So anyway, 8 minutes to go here. Lesty going to go through the 3rd sector here. Again, very easy corner. If you step on it wrong, could invalidate or get the car a little too squirrely. Want to keep it in, get the apexes. Goes almost too wide there. Gets a little to the back end. That's going to cost some time. He's barely up on his times to begin with. We'll see if he can improve. Go through the last corner here. Want to brake, but keep as much speed as possible. Don't want to go too wide. It's going to be a 131.5. That is an improvement, but not enough to put him up any higher on the grid. Next up, you got Trope. Trope hasn't validated, so Trope's time will not count. I believe Maddie just crossed the line. Nope, that was not Maddie. That was actually the teammate Smitty. Smitty did not put down a time. Maddie is actually on a fly here. Berto going to give way here. Next Red Bull driver going to cross. I think Beat by Vegan's about to start his I lap. He's about to cross the line. Or, yep, it is Vegan. Then you got the Williams and Kenobi. So actually, we'll come back to Kenobi. Here comes Kenobi. It's going to be an improvement. It's going to be a 131.4. That will jump up to P5. Keep an eye on your screens for Maddie. Maddie's going to jump up to stay in P2, but get a little bit closer to Scanny. But Scanny's time is looking very untouchable. Then you got Trop. Then you got the other Williams of Malik, who just jumped up to P7, or at least kept himself in P7. And then you got the Renault driver of Reds looking to possibly improve here. Has moved to reserve time status. It looks like it's going to be good, and that's going to be a pole run from Reds. Reds up to 136.53. So after winning last week and moving to reserve status due to scheduling conflicts, he has now set a pole lap. So maybe, again, maybe it's a little bit late to write down the ship here. Maybe he can still win this title. And Zalek has bailed on their lap. So they will be just coming in the pit lane, and will still be P13 on the grid. So Trope has not been able to put down a lap. That's another lap wasted. As you see, he's invalidated. So he's really struggling to stay within the track limits. Exelic pitting in, Connor as well. And Jay, who did invalidate on his first run, is now up to P1 with a 136.26 on a set of softs. We know he's a pretty fast driver, looking to make it 2 for 2 for poles. And that's what he's on pace to do here today, if anyone can challenge him. But we know Reds has some pace in that car, and Scanny. And Scanny is on a run here, but Scanny's also a little bit low on his times. So it is worth noting that Scanny probably won't improve unless he finds some good time in the third sector. We'll have to keep an eye on him. He's on one lap both softs. And it looks, yeah, he's bailing now. That's going to be the end of his lap. And now Will goes P5 with a 131.260. So Will's, the reserve commentator who's just come in for this league here today, has put down a 131.26. So good for him. And hope he get him a good debut race. And you see a bunch of drivers bailing, getting ready for the last run here. Considering it's about a minute 30, you're going to see a bunch of drivers head out within about a lap or two. But if you're heading out now, this is your run. Like Demo's going up. This is going to be his run here. He wants a clean track. And you can tell by the time remaining, if he decides to bail, he'll have enough time to go for one more run. But if he goes, he'll be at about 3 minutes to go when he crosses the line, and 1 minute to go when he ends that lap. So, yeah, this is his put up or shut up lap. He's got 2 attempts to set a good time here. And you kind of see he's trying to get used to the rubber here, kind of invalidating a little bit, trying to get rubbered into the track, and just hoping he can get going here. But other than that, every other driver's probably waiting for that 3 minute to go window, because the slipstream is powerful with those 2 long straights. It's not as like Italy, where you're going to be trying to line up nose to tail to try to get a good run. But a little bit of toe was definitely helpful around this circuit. So we just wait here. I think the Williams is coming in. Yep, we can see the Mercedes driver Exelic's also coming out. So Exelic's going to be going with a clean track here. Especially if right now you're 14, 15, 16, 17, or 18. You may just want to put down a banker lap to just try to get something on the grid. So back to the top of the grid here, you got the AlphaTauri driver of JJ coming in, and it looks like, I think that's Will. Yep, Will, again, overshoots pit lane again. Really needs to get that cleaned up. And both of them coming along with beat by beacon, so they're going for the last run here. Demo is going to be the first driver here, setting up his times here, kind of waiting it out. Got a lot of space here. Reds is about a whole sector back, so he doesn't need to worry too much. And here he goes. We're going to ride on with Demo here. Demo going to be the first driver to set a time, then Reds, then Exelic. That is a little bit of a confusing because he's X and X, but whatever. We're moving on here. We got, I can see the 2 drivers coming out just behind him will not impede his lap. So luckily he timed that just right, because if he came out went a little bit too later, he would have been stacked up behind those cars and probably could have compromised his run to turn 1. So here we go. He's going to be running around the fountain section here, going to keep his throttle and keep his foot in as fast as possible here. We're going to check the end of Sector 1, which will be coming up right at the end of this corner here. Does not invalidate. It's going to be an improvement, presumably. Yeah, it's 1.52 up on his times. That will currently slot him in only about P10 on the grid. That raises the question, if he can barely improve, should he actually go for it? Because right now he's got a free choice at tire compound, but if he jumps inside that top 10, he's stuck on the softs he's qualifying on right now. And through the Sector 2 here, got one more corner. He's going to be going through corner 10 here, then the long straight, then that's the end of Sector 2, just at the end of the long straight here. Oh, he overshoots. And that's going to be the end of this run here. Any good competitive time. Looks like he's going to try to set up for one more run with 3 minutes to go. So we're going to cut back to Reds, our current pole sitter, who's actually, yeah, Reds is actually our current pole sitter. He's actually set a 134.36 while I was watching on board with Demo. So good lap by Reds. Should have caught that, but I thought he was on an out lap, so that is my mistake. Always make one. We are human after all. But anyway, we're going to cut back with Zalek. Zalek is actually on a lap here, but they are actually going through the end of Sector 1 here. I think that's 11. Yeah, 11's about to start their lap in question. And you got a bunch of drivers starting the laps, including John Hader and the AlphaTauri driver. I think that is Jay. Yep, Jay is going to try to go for a pole run here as well, but Jay is on his out lap farther up the circuit. That's the other Alfa Romeo driver, Alberto. So we got 2 minutes to go here. This is probably your last 2 runs you're going to get. So Berto starts a lap along with that. So we're just going to keep an eye on board the whole field here. A little bit of a stack up the road there. I think Trape is currently just in front of the Mercedes driver 11. So hoping that didn't impede 11 too much. And Demo's coming in the pit lane. So Demo, I think, is going to try to stay outside the top 10 and get a free choice of tire compound. Top 3 are all currently on the track going for a pole run here. So we'll go on Kenobi here. Kenobi is actually still on the lap here. So Kenobi's good. Oh, Smitty's good. Smitty's going through that sector right now, sector 1. 11 is currently, I think 11 is the farthest up the grid. Yeah, actually Exalic is. So we're going to cut back on Exalic here, because Exalic is currently, yeah, she's on a line. She's on a time here. So we're going to see where she slots it. Currently no time on the grid. Can she bump her way into the top 10 and make it hard for 11 to get inside the top 10? Last couple corners, it's going to be a 1:33.3, and that's going to be 14th on the grid. We'll have enough time to do one more run if she wants. I think that's Berto, and that's not Berto, that's the other Alfa Romeo of Jay. So Jay about to start his lap in question. Then you got 11, so we're going to go back on 11 here. But 11 is invalidated, so 11's time will not count. Then you got, I believe that's Trape behind. Yep, that is Trape behind. We got a little bit of a slowdown. Looks like Reds is going a bit slow. Does he have damage? I don't think he does. He is just slowing up to let people go. So I think the next car in line is going to be the Haas driver, Smitty. Yep, Smitty will be next, and then Kenobi. You can see a Ferrari going, I think Ferrari may have spun back there, but Smitty has locked up, so that's going to be the end of his run. I'm going to cut back to see if I can find the Ferrari in question, the hater. In fact, I never find him. Yeah, he looks like he just kind of slowed up a little bit, maybe waiting, maybe went a little bit wide. Berto has retired from the session, so he's confident in his lap. Kenobi going to have a run here. He's up by 3 tenths. It's going to be a good run here. He's definitely going to jump himself somewhere. And he's going to put himself P5 on the grid with 47 seconds left to go in the session. Big log jam behind it, including, I think that's Maddie. Maddie's going to start his outlap, but then you got Scanny. Scanny going to the last couple corners here. Can Scanny put his way on pole position here? It's going to be a close. It's going to be a 1:33.7. It's going to be an improvement, but not enough to jump himself into the top any higher than 3rd. Well, he's already 3rd, so he's not going any higher. Then you got the Red Bulls. Will's on an outlap. Lesty about to put a time down along with Trape. So keep an eye on Trape. Actually, that's not Trape. It's Malik. My mistake. Malik not able to improve. Lesty just starts his outlap, so he'll have, this is his last run. Now you got, I think that's Exalic. Yep, Exalic coming in the pit lane, so not confident on their lap. They're going to be coming in. Then you got the Williams of Bezier on his outlap. He will be probably the last driver to set a time here. He's got 4 seconds. Will he make it? Yeah, he will make it. So this will be the last driver. So Bezier will be the last one to set a time. So first we got to have this Jay. Jay is coming in the pit lane, so Jay is not approved. He's invalidated. So that will be the end of Jay. Jay will always slide P2. And oh, Scanny really pushing there. That's invalidating. So Scanny will not approve either. So I think Reds has the pole kind of locked unless a driver comes out of nowhere and shocks. We got Trape. Trape is invalidated. Trape will not approve. Then we got, I think that was beat by Vegan that just jumped up to P4. Yeah, he did. Vegan up to 4th. Then you got Smitty up next. Smitty going to cross the line. We'll keep an eye on Trape. Trape has invalidated, so Trape will not improve. Then we got Smitty. Smitty is kind of going a bit slow, so that's going to be no run for him. Reds up next. Reds is also going a bit slow, so I think he's going to be pitting as well. So it's up to the Williams behind him of Kenobi. Can't Kenobi improve on that run he already did once? Can he jump into the 130s? Well, that would be kind of... We'll see here. Now he's on a slowdown lap as well, so he will not be improving. We know Scanny invalidated, and Bezier has actually invalidated, so that's run over for him. You can see him up in near sector 2, right around corner, I believe that's 8, 9. So he has to go in slow. Then we're waiting for the last driver. So I think Leslie Twig and Will are on runs here. So they give him the last 3. What will Will put down? Will put down a P2 run. That's P2 for Will. And Leslie has invalidated. And Kenobi's actually P8. So I think someone just jumped up there. I think it was Malik. Malik jumped up to P6. So Will, though, pulls one out of the bag and will be jumping into P2 on the grid. And that's going to be the end of qualifying. With Bezier invalidating, Will was one of the last drivers on the track. So Will able to get close to pole, but not enough. Even though it's probably too little too late for Will. Actually, considering there's 6 rounds left, if he wins all 6 races, he can still pull out this championship. But he's going to need a miracle. He's not mathematically eliminated, but he's going to need all the stars to line up and God to shine down on him. But setting himself up good for next season, possibly. But we got a big top 4 here for Reds, Will, Jay, and Scanny, all relatively close. Then you got Vegan in 5th, Malik in 6th, and I'll give you the rest of the top 10 once we go through the results screen. So as you can look at the results here, we got Reds in 1st position. We got Will in 2nd position, Jay in 3rd, Scanny in 4th, Vegan in 5th, Malik in 6th, Maddie in 7th, Kenobi in 8th, Lesty in 9th, and Smitty will be the last driver inside the top 10. with a 131.8. Then you got 11, who sadly would just miss. Will be two. Only there's a big gap though from 10th to 11th though. So maybe a little bit slow. Demo actually set his time on mediums. Interesting note, but he's got free tire choice. So 11, Demo, Hater, Exelic, Trope, Connor, Berto, and Bezier all will get free tire choice. But something worth noting, Connor has a 5-place grid penalty, so he'll be starting P18th. But also, Trope, Berto, and Bezier all put good runs down and couldn't really keep it within the lines. So that could be worth noting into the race tomorrow, that maybe they're a little bit sketchy on their cars, or maybe they're not feeling as comfortable with this track, because it is kind of easy to cut around here. So if they're not too careful, this could easily rack them up, and that could be it could be looking down a penalty bullet, and really will hurt them in the championship hunt. Nice dry day here in Russia, no rain in the sky. So unlike Belgium last week, 2 weeks ago, no rain in the forecast, unless a random shower decides to pop up. Looking at the chance here, Jay was purple before validating, so Jay could have had a powerful run. So Jay does have some speed in that car. So we can't count out Jay, but we got a big top 4 here, all pretty close. Hopefully they don't step on that. Hopefully they don't get in each other's way, because they all fight each other. It will be interesting, but that could allow 5th, 6th, and 7th to even get closer too. So this could be very interesting indeed. As we are just waiting for just to finish up here. Yep, as you can see here, Reds again, the reserve driver now, currently in pole position. He'll be going off on the track. Then you got Will, Jay, Scanny, and all that. We'll take a quick look at the tire compounds here. Interesting note, only driver to start on a hard tire compound isn't softs is Demo in 12th. And he's on a set of hards, no less. Interesting. The hards are pretty slow on the start. So he may be trying to go hard softs, while I assume the rest of the field, a one-stop is feasible. So everyone above him and everyone below him are going soft medium, while Demo's going hards, but if there's a safety car kind of early, maybe he can go for a set of mediums instead. So maybe he's just trying to play the long game here. At least that's what I'm thinking, because if there's a safety car around lap, let's say 7, the mediums could make it 20 laps. So maybe he's playing the game where he's just thinking, try to get in early if there's an early safety car, and try just to survive. That could be an ideal strategy, but would it be a smart one? That we'll have to wait and see. As we wait for the rest of the formation lap to go around here, just going to wait this out here. While we wait, though, as you can see the AWS predictions, which are usually wrong in hindsight. I just like to take this time and let you know, because we do have to do the plug every week, and I know you guys don't probably like hearing it, but you're going to hear it anyway. If you like what you see, why not like and subscribe to League Racing TV, where there's a bunch of other leagues that run Mondays through Fridays, from all different leagues, from TTML to EML to CWC, which you're currently watching. You can also follow CWC at Twitter, at CWC Racing, where you can get updates on the league and your favorite drivers. Also, at the same time, if you are interested in joining this league, you can PM the account and maybe possibly get a possibility to join the league as a reserve and possibly come in when some drivers aren't here on the grid. But other than that, that will be it. So last thing I'll do before we wait for the last drivers is Reds has really pulled a big field, while Will has really kind of backed him up here. Actually, I think Jay has really backed him up. But let's go through my prediction. Is John Hader has been disqualified. It looks like he collided with Exelic, and it looks like there may have been another stack up there on that straight. There could be another 2 drivers going to the naughty stool. Looks like whatever happened was not enough to trigger a naughty stool sentence. But I will give my quick predictions here. You know what? I'm going to go Will. I think Will's going to win this race. I'm going to go Will, Jay, and then I'm going to go for a shock. You know what? I'm going with Kenobi. No, I'm going Leslie the Twig. Sorry, Kenobi. I'm going Leslie the Twig. I'm going Will, Jay, Twig. That's my top 3 here today. That would be my prediction. Always like to go for a wild card in my 3rd one. And I got a feeling Leslie needs a big championship showing here today. He's going to kind of put up a shut up here in Russia and get some good points to try to close the gap. Either him or Kenobi. So you could probably interchange Twig with Kenobi. But those are my 2 wildcard choices here today. But I think Will's going to pull the race out of the bag here and win this race in that Red Bull. But anyway, we got 27 laps here. Hopefully they give me a good camera angle here that's not facing the roller coaster here. There we go. We got the 5 red lights, and away they go off in the corner 1 here. Looks like everyone is relatively clean so far. Looks like Red's got the better start here. Scandy gets the better jump on Jay. So Scandy up the 3rd, Jay up the 4th. Vegan and Malik better. Oh, big climb up the 2nd one. Bezier the wrong way around. And I think that he's the only one involved. That's a safety car. Bezier, and I think that is Trope. Trope has crashed out. That's race over for Trope. And actually, that was Kenobi. My mistake. Bezier's actually clean. And we got a little bit of a stack up in the back here. Almost some damage here in question. That was Kenobi. Wrong way around. And Bezier gets a 5-second time penalty. And that is race over for Trape. Trape just was not having a good weekend. That's race over for him. But big cluster in the back there. Stewart's going to have an interesting look to see what happened there. I kind of got to look at it, but I didn't get a clean look. But I feel like the score chat's going to be on fire after something like that. But anyway, Kenobi luckily gets bailed by safety car, can pit and fix damage. But something worth noting is Lesty and Maddie both got 5 seconds for a collision in question. I'll take 5 seconds for Matt. Lesty got 10. So my 2 wildcards didn't do that well here. But they can actually probably go on a set of hards here and maybe make it 26 laps. That'd be a stretch. But at this point, what's he got to lose? Bezier also gets 5 seconds well. So both Williams drivers, poor start off the line here. But can try to hopefully rebound for something. But other than that, Red's got first. So we look at the position changes here. Scanny jumped J. Lesty actually got a spot. 11 got 2 spots. Berto got 6 because of the collisions, the accidents ahead of him. So he's the big winner so far off the line. But Scanny got ahead of Jay, and that was the other major thing worth noting off that start, besides the captain obvious choice. So we'll see if anyone pits here. Then I'm going to try to take a quick look at the incident report here to see what exactly may have happened. Who collided with what on lap 1. As you can see, you can see that the McLaren Ademo has a broken wing, so he was clearly involved in that. So we'll see how many drivers are going to pit here. Demo's pitting, obviously. Looks like Bezier's staying out. Probably could serve that 5 seconds under the penalty, because you can serve it under a safety car in this game, even though that doesn't make any sense in real life. You can serve penalties in the game. So it looks like Kenobi, Exelic, Demo all pitting, along with Lesty to serve that time penalty. May also have damage. Yeah, I think he doesn't have actually damage, but he is pitting to get a fresh set of wings and pit to fix that. Try to get that penalty removed, I'd assume. But yeah, Kenobi picks and fixes wing, and Exelic as well, probably fitting the fixed damage. So we'll take a quick look at the race director here, just to take a look at the incident question. So yeah, it looks like Bezier, it looks like Demo, Kenobi, Exelic, Bezier all collided, and you can see just on this list here, Maddie. It looks like about the mid-pack back, because Kenobi was about 5th or 6th, so may have got a bad start, it looked like. They get a little bit swarmed, maybe got turned the wrong way around, and he just kind of got turned in front of the field, and that cost a lot of drivers some issues. Bezier actually didn't get a penalty. Collide actually gained 1 place. That's why they gave him a 5. But, yeah, worth noting. So, yeah, hectic start there indeed. Oh, and there's Elk into the wall again. I think they may have just broken their wing. She may have just broken her wing again. And Kenobi just passed. Hopefully they don't give Kenobi a yellow. He may have to get that spot back. But he wasn't, his Elk was a little bit slow, so maybe he won't be forced. But, yeah, Lesty's out 5 seconds. Lesty can pit again here. And, get that 5 seconds removed along with Bezier and Maddie. There's no rule in the book, as far as I can tell in this league, that you can't do that. So it makes sense. Just get it on the safety car and get it clean. So you can at least be fighting for realsies, and you don't have to, when you actually make a pit stop, actually have to serve it. But we'll see if anyone decides to pit here, maybe take an aggressive strategy. Hards, it'd be a stretch to take it 25 laps, but not impossible. If anyone's bearing enough to try it, it'd be very interesting to see. But I don't think anyone will. Trying to find the right stat here. Tires indeed. Yep, looks like Exelic's on a set of hards, but I think she may have broke her wing, so she may have to pit again. Other than that, Kenobi, Lesty on mediums, and they're the only other 2 that pitted on that safety car, and Demo actually went for a set of softs, so he actually pitted as well and went for a set of softs, so interesting to note in here. So we'll see if anyone else is going to pit here. No one is going to be taking the plunge, maybe even to serve their penalties. Actually, it looks like Connor's coming back in. So Connor may be not happy. Connor may not be happy with those softs. Other than that, Exelic also in as well. So, yeah, it looks like both of them coming in again. Exelic, we know, saw collided with that wall, so that's why they're pitting. And Connor going for a set of hards indeed. And that's why they're pitting as well. So, yeah, that is worth noting here. Safety car should be coming in this time by, so we'll have the ready to start here on lap 4. Indeed. So, yeah, waiting for the thing here. Again, shout out to some of the drivers to not come down to serve their penalties, but again, maybe just want to wait for their pit stops, because it only will cost them 5 seconds, but again, 5 seconds is 5 seconds. So yeah, we're just waiting here to finish this race indeed. And yeah, so we're waiting on accordance. I know I'm only a bit silent here, but there's really nothing to really talk about. We're just kind of just waiting. It's only lap 3. We kind of covered the incident question. We're just kind of waiting it out. Just waiting until safety car comes in, which should be this time by in question. I know it's not very entertaining, but usually that's why you have a co-commentator here. You can kind of just chat the, you can shoot the you-know-what with them, but since no one else is here, I kind of just have to fill the air myself. And it's a bit hard when you're a one-man band, metaphorically speaking. Yep, safety car in this time by. So we'll see here. We'll ride on board with Scanny. I always like riding board with a third-place car here to see if we can get a good look at, see how the driver in first and second do in accordance. So it's always good to see in question how they do. So we can see if Red's how he times the safety car, and we can then see how in reaction how Will reacts to that safety car. That's why it's always good to ride board with the third-place car, in my opinion. Always see how the start goes. So it looks like Reds is going to back him up a little bit into a treat here. Question is, when will he go? He usually seems like something that goes a lot earlier in question before I've seen safety cars, but he's really backing it up here. Safety car has not come in yet, so now he can go at any point here since the safety car is in now as we speak. So we can go at any point, and he's still waiting it out. Really going to back him up here to the last corner here, much to the chagrin of the other drivers here. Going off last corner here, still hasn't gone yet. Now he's going, waiting for the line, and that's going to be a penalty, as it looks like Jay ran in the back of Beat by a Vegan while waiting, and both of them are going to get 5 seconds. Anyway, battle up here for first here. Reds and Will. Scandy going to join the collage here, and it's going to be 2 wide. It looks like Scandy going to try to make a 3 wide here. They're not going to make this work on lap 4, and it looks like Scandy's going to have to back it out, and Will and Reds collide, and there was nowhere to go for Jay. They are still side by side. Reds and Will's Hater gets 3 seconds for multiple warnings, but Will and Reds touched wheels, and Scandy had to back out, and it caused Jay to get a little squirrely here, and Will take the lead of this race and be a P1, and you got Reds, and then Scandy in third. Jay and that, looking to the rest of the field, Malik, everyone else kind of hold position. I know we were focusing on the top of the grid. It looks like we got a pass here. 11, well, actually, the camera angle was on. 11 just went a little bit wide there. But turn intervals by off. There we go. And we got pass here. Bezier up to 10, passing Smitty for 11. Oh, and there goes the Red Bull of Leslie the Twig. Go for an aggressive dive there. Saw an opportunity to make a pass, and he's up to P11 after pit on the safety car. Is now up to 11, trying to quickly cut his way through the field as quickly as possible to make it work. But there was a little bit of a penalty under the safety cars. Remember, Jay ran in the back of Beat by Vegan. So Jay probably not too thrilled about that. Now going to make a pass on Scanny. We'll have to see that penalty when he pits. Could get the 5 seconds removed, depending on how it was charged. And Scanny never wheel by wheel, and they're still wheel by wheel. Scanny gets the elbows out. Sorry, it's not Scanny. Jay gets the elbows out, shoves them a little bit wide. Could argue a little bit dirty for lap 4. Maybe not dirty, but just a little bit mean. Like, not giving him any room on the road. And we got Malik and Vegan passing there, and Malik gets past Vegan, and that's going to allow possibly the Haas driver, Manny, to make a pass, and Manny going to go for 2 for 1 special, and he's going to push Vegan, just push Vegan, but give Vegan a little bit no space, and now Vegan's falling like a stone. Next up is 11 and Bezier, both going to try to make pass here. We got the crotch here, but Berto going to try to pass Bezier and the Williams, very stacked on the back here. We also got Manny up the grid as well at 6, going to try to make a pass on Malik. Didn't give him a good angle there. Still not giving the good angle. Why are they giving me the onboard shot? There we go. And we got the pass here in question. Big stack up here for the back 5. Lot to cover here. Really not giving me good angles. We got the Williams making a pass of Bezier. Bezier on the inside of Beat by Vegan. Vegan's really sank on this restart here. And we got 3 wide between 7th, 8th, and 9th. Vegan trying to keep his foot in. Bezier going to try to pass 11. We got side by side with Berto. Vegan going to go very deep in question. Going to try to hold the inside on 11. And 11's going to hold it. You got yellow flag sector 1, sector 2. That is one of the McLarens gone wrong way around. And the 2 McLarens are fighting. Then we got, I think that's Lesty. Yeah, that's Lesty. It looked like he was clearing this pack, but got re-swallowed. Oh, and a big hurt by 11. 11 just rode that curb and got some air. The Duke boys would be impressed. And 11's going to lose out big, and that would have killed the suspension in real life. But luckily, the suspensions aren't actually damaged in this game, so luckily they'll be okay. And that will probably give a little bit of breathing room to this big pack here, and will give us a chance to breathe. Bezier up to 7th here, going to try to pass Malik on the outside, try to hold it and try to do something similar to what Jay did to Scanny. And Bezier wrong way around. Looks like they touched side pods, if I'm not mistaken. We'll get it refired, no damage, but looking the wrong way around. Berto makes a pass on Vegan. Berto up to 7th. Lasty going to try hanging around the outside. Gets kind of close in the door. Gets a little close. And Vegan 8th. Lasty to 9th. Reds at the fast lap of this race. But Will is still leading the way. Top 4 are pretty much the same. And Manny's kind of checked out from 5th. But this is the biggest commotion we have here. All fighting. And now with DRS enabled, this is going to get even scrappier. So we got Lesty, we got Vezier in 11th, made a mistake trying to pass Malik, clearly showing he's got some speed here, gonna try to make a move on Smitty here, gonna try to make it work. I still don't like that they give me that angle going into corner 1. Smitty locks up big time, and it's gonna allow Bezier to get past like he was standing still. Bezier 10th, Lesty in 9th, Vegan in 8th, and actually Scanny has made a move on Jay, cut back up to the position here. Scanny made a very late lunge, you could argue, probably a little bit of payback to what Jay did to him into corner 13-14, my mistake, and Scanny will hold the spot. So all is fair in love and war, and Scanny gets spot 3 back from Jay. Back up to the back positions here, you got Vegan in 8th, Berto in 7th, and Lesty in 9th. The 10th, all under this one blanket here. And Reds has slowly reeled back in Will as well, but the top 2 have broken away from 3-4, and 3-4 broken away from 5, and Lesty has made a pass on Vegan in 8th. So we'll keep an eye on your screen there with Jay. We'll see if that time comes down. Jay's not closing up too much here. We could have a pass here for 10th. In question, as we got Bezier battling beat by a Vegan, and Vegan just almost hits the wall there, and Vegan is going to go down to 10th. My mistake. 10th to Vegan, and now 11 goes very wide there, very too deep, and is going to possibly be under pressure from losing 12th to the 11th to the hot driver Smith. And that back to the front here, Reds has really closed the gap in question here. Going to have definitely a good opportunity to make a pass on Will here. Maybe the pressure of Will being kind of a new kid here on the block, maybe a little bit rusty. We'll have to see in question how he handles the long straight here. Will and Reds, 1-2 here. Reds is going to have DRS. Can he make a pass happen here? You can see by the blinking light, Will has used a lot of his ERS, while Will, you can see by the telemetry here, that he is actually relatively still clean. We got Jay battling there. Sorry to cut back off, but Jay and Scandy. Jay tries to make them. Oh, they touch. That is wings broken, and Jay hard into the wall, and that is Will gone, and that's going to be a VSC. And I think Jay may not be too thrilled, and Scandy gets a 5-second for a severe collision, which you probably could argue a little bit. I'll have to be in bias. We'll take a second to breathe. But I think Jay went too wide. Jay tried to re-enter, and then Jay and them touched side pods. You could argue whether or not intentional or not. It was intentional, but could you argue a little bit dirty? Who knows? But these two drives, you saw the pass Jay made on Scanny. That was very aggressive. Then you saw the position, the overtake Scanny did on Jay was very aggressive. So both of them are known for making very aggressive lunges at each other, and it looks like that's what happens when you play too aggressive too early. You play with fire too early, this is what happens. And sadly, Jay is out of the race, and Scanny's looking at a 5-second time penalty. It could be more, depending on how the stewards decide to rule that. But I know there'll be a steward's inquiry after this race for that, for sure. But anyway, that saved Will, because Will was probably under pressure from Reds, but that safety car did kind of help him out and give him some time to kind of regroup here, maybe save some ERS. But he's only at 24% ERS. He really needs to start saving it. Lesty already up to 6, passing his friend and co-hosting a podcast with, actually, that's actually just my mistake. But anyway, he goes very wide there, and he's going to have to check back up, and that's going to allow Bezier just to sneak on by. P6 for Bezier, and now Lesty battling Berto in the Alpha Rotari, and Lesty will hold it and get 7th back. So Lesty, bad time to have a lock up there. Will hold at least 7th, but Bezier just sneaks on by like he's standing still. Yep, Scanning's going to have to pit to fix his broken wing, and that's going to promote Maddie up to 3rd. So all chaos. The only two drivers really that keep it kind of, well, much sweat right now is Will and Reds. Everyone else having to fight, but something that at least can maybe bail out Scanny. If Scanny can make it to the end, at least on a set of hards, maybe even on a set of mediums. And it looks like he's going to put on a set of mediums. And it looks like Berto's going to make the pass on Lesty, but doesn't validate by going a little bit too wide. We'll get 3 seconds added to his time. So we'll cut back off the tire compound. I'll quickly ride over to Scanny. Bezier gets 3 for multiple warnings as well. Yep, Scanny put on a set of mediums, and it looks like Sal pits again. Look, she may have broken her wing. So back up here, we got a 5-second gap. Maddie's kind of just in his own little world right now. He's kind of checked out from the last pack and is not far enough away from the next pack, so he's kind of just all alone, which is probably something that's good considering this track here is very chaos, but he needs to step on it because Malik and Bezier are coming, and you can see if they start battling, that could allow the train of Berto, Lesty, Vegan to recatch. So he needs to step on it, or else he may be under pressure to get swarmed. So we're going to take a second here to catch my breath because we had like 4 to 5 laps there where I had to constantly keep going. So I'm going to take a second, catch my breath. This is where we probably put it to crank it up if this was a NASCAR reference, but sadly, this is not a NASCAR league, and I don't have that software. So sadly, you're just going to have to listen to just less talking as Smitty's make a pass on 9th, and will make the pass on 11th, but 11th going to have an answer back here. They're going to be side by side going into the corner here in question. Can 11 keep their foot in it? And they're going to keep it, but they're going kind of polite here, actually, you could say. Looks like neither wants to cause anyone too much harm there. So that's actually kind of nice to see, even though it's not the cleanest, but we've got a pass here for Reds. Reds going to make a move on Will here for the lead of the race, and it's going to be Reds going to pass him using the DRS, but Will going to possibly think about making a move back there. Has to be patient, but he's going to probably get the switch back here. Will has to tuck back in line and possibly think about making, waiting back here. Malik's also pretty close as well, so I have to keep an eye on Malik. But Reds and Will here, Will just going to tuck in line and just going to kind of hold back. And we got 11th and Smitty and 11th both fighting here in question as well. Again, very polite battle back there for P9. Told what Scanny and Jay went through. They were at each other's throats, while Smitty and 11 are having a very Canadian-friendly battle, as you would say. Like, no, you go, you go. Still respecting each other, but keeping it clean, which is nice to see. At the very least, less likely to make enemies that way. But now Will, again, you can see by the ERS battle, Reds has over 50, while Will only has 6. So Will really made a mungle of saving his ERS, and that could cost him here, because it's going to allow Reds a lot better run down the straight here. As he's only, he's actually, see, I got 44%, and with none left, Will's not even going to get that, lunge off the straights. That's really going to hurt him in question. Cutting back to the field here, Mal not close to making anything on Bezier, but he looks like he's slowly reeling him in. So Bezier could be under pressure. I think actually Bezier may have passed Malik while we were kind of watching that battle for the lead there, if I'm not mistaken, because Malik was ahead of Bezier. But Malik's still hanging on for dear life. Pit stop should be happening sooner rather than later. The window should be opening, at least in a couple laps here, because we're on lap 10. If we go by AWS predictions, about 11 or 12, but you usually can stretch it a little bit longer than the AWS prediction. As Berto, and speaking of Malik, he's actually deciding to go for the heavy undercut here, maybe trying to get the open space. Going early on a set here, I would assume he's going on to a set of mediums here, would be my guess. Yep, window just open for a lot of projections, so a lot of drivers should be coming in this line by or next time by. But Malik going for the overcut here, trying to jump Bezier in the pits and use that open track to his advantage. Going to go for a set of mediums here, so mediums can make it to the end. Will has still keeping on the back of Reds, but again, that ERS advantage is well known. As you can see by Reds there, looks like Reds' window has opened as well for him, so Reds will probably be coming in at the end of this lap, at least why I would assume that blue wrench means. Cutting to the rest of the field here, you got Lesty in 6th. Still on the back of Berto, but Berto's been able to keep the distance here, but Leslie needs a good point stay here today to catch up in the grid. Keeping an eye on the rest of the field, the Hayde is also coming in as well. I'm going to take a quick check here. We're going to check the back of the field there. As we remember, Kenobi got turned wrong way around lap 1. Is only a P14 trying to make a good recovery drive happen, while Scanny is in 13th after that collision with Jay, trying to make a recovery happen, but they're both... Actually, Scanny and Jay are not that far away from Malik, though. And if they can make it to the end, they can kind of rebound, at least get some points, but they're going to have to conserve the tires to make a one-stop occur. Scanny definitely can make it to the end, but Kenobi is going to be stretching on those mediums. He's probably going to have to pit again unless he gets help with a safety car. And that may be a tough night Irene for him, as Malik gets 3 from multiple warnings, and yet you can see Reds coming in along with Will. So the question is anyone going to stay out and try the overcut here? It's usually not ideal, but it looks like Maddie's going to be trying it. Bezier coming in, but Bezier's also going to have to serve 5 seconds for that collision, so he's going to have 5 seconds at his time along with Berto. And 11 gets 3 from multiple warnings, so 3, 4, 5, actually no, Berto has 3 seconds from cutting, so he's actually not going to have to serve it. So Will that, but Bezier is definitely going to get jumped. Beat by Vegan stays out as well, but he's also got 5 seconds as well, so keep an eye on some long times. So someone gets held up in the pits. As you can see by Bezier, he's going to be held up 5 seconds here, so he's going to come in. You'll see the clock here. Keep an eye on the grid. Going to hold him 5 seconds, so that's going to allow Malik definitely to get by, and it's also going to allow Scan to get by as well. So really going to hurt Bezier, so he's going to have to hope he has long race pace, and he's got to fix his wing. So that's not what he wants to see. Reds will slot in 7th, Will in 8th. Connor going to be the first runners and not pitted, but he's on a set of hards, though, so he's looking to try to at least go to the end. As I believe, he stopped. He's got 7-lap all hard, so he's going to at least try to make it to the end and maybe play a wild card race. Beat by Ving gets 3 for multiple warnings, not what he wants to see. So right now, Matty currently leads the way, but your de facto leader is still Reds with currently at P7th, and when everyone has to pit, he'll cycle back into 7th with Will in 8th. And remember, Vegan has serve 5, Leslie has serve 5. I think Matty only has a 3 for cutting. No, he also has 5 as well. So top 3 are all going to get held for 5 seconds. And actually, I think Vegan, if he pits again, will have to get served for another 5 seconds. So he's got 2, 5, or maybe that's 2 cuts. No, because he has a 3, so that would be 8. So yeah, no, right. He's only got 1 5-second on his name. And the other 2, he's got 6 seconds worth of cutting and 5 worth that collision when he had with Jay. So the question is, will Maddie Lesty come in this time? I assume they would. Maddie coming in as we speak. Lesty will probably follow suit. No, he is staying on another lap, while Vegan is also staying on another lap. So only driver coming in this time is Maddie, and he'll have to serve that 5 seconds of question. So Smitty will jump up to 3rd, Demo to 4th, 11 up to 5th, actually 11 pitting this time by. So Reds will go up to 5th, if I'm not mistaken, and Will go to 6th. But yeah, top 4 is still not pitted yet, so we do have to wait for them to pit. So, yeah. But if a safety car does come out, this would kind of help them with a little bit of spacing in the back of the field here. Connor up to 7th, Maddie 8th, Will 9th. But we'll cut back to the back here again. They're kind of under a blank here. 9th, Berto, my squad meter score is really screwed up in the back here. It keeps updating because the driver's coming out. But Berto is just going to come out just ahead. Maddie's just going to come out just in this train here. And he's probably going to come out just ahead of Scanny. So yeah, Scanny going to have to get kind of on the brakes a little bit earlier than he wants because Maddie came in. So Scanny is going to be under... Scanny going to try to pass Maddie here for 10th. And he's going to make it work because remember, Maddie's on cold tires, but Maddie's going to try to hold it possibly. No, he's going to have to back it down. But Maddie's going to have the fresher tires, though. So keep an eye on Maddie trying to carve his way through the field. 11 gets another 3 seconds for multiple warnings. And it's just not been a good race for her. So anyway, back to lap 12 here. Last seed currently in the way here. Beat by Beacon 2nd, Smitty in 3rd, Demo 4th. Remember, Reds will be coming out de facto P1 when the other 4 decide to pit. Will still staying strong. Will still holding strong. But again, he's got no ERS. He really needs right now. If I'm Will, he needs to save that ERS because that will hurt him. He will not be able to get past Reds if he doesn't save his ERS. He really needs to be conservative on it. I don't know if he's listening to stream or not, but take it from your friendly engineer, your engineer Pepsi Freak. You need to save that ERS now. You need to make that. You need to save it, or else you'll be a sitting duck and be a mistake. As Red Beat by Beacon has decided to pit, leaving only Smitty and Lesty, the only 2 drivers that have not pitted yet in the top 4. But I think actually Connor has pitted as well. Connor's also staying on as well. But Connor's on a set of hearts. That makes sense. But he's already pitted. So the only 2 drivers not to pit yet are Smitty and Lesty. Bezier sets a fast lap of the race, so clearly not letting that mistake happen in accordance with him. And he's trying to make as much of a rebound as possible here. Sorry about that. Had to take a sip of water there. Had a little bit of a frog in the throat. But we're back to the line in question here. We got Malik in 7th, Scanny in 8th here. Big train here in the back here. And Red, actually, Will has lost the back end of Reds. So it looks like May made a mistake there. While I was riding more in the back there, taking a sip of water, it looks like Will did lose the back end a little bit. And it looks like he's now lost well over a second. Or Reds really has put the pressure on. And that's, again, where I think, yeah, you can see by ERS, so I think Will was really pushing to get a fast lap there. Oh, sorry, Reds, while Will was kind of, well, that ERS had to conserve. And, yeah, he's now 2 seconds down. So he's going to need some help to get back. But again, save your ERS, kid. Anyway, back to P8 here. We got a battle just up the road here as Scanny and Malik are fighting. And Scanny's going to make the pass. Up to 7th he goes. A little bit of a lockup on the tires, but he'll make the pass done. Up to 7th. Next up in his line is Berto in the AlphaTauri, as now Smitty has pitted. So Smitty is going to fall down the grid here because he's pitted. Now Leslie, the only driver left, maybe trying to catch an errant safety car here. And I wouldn't bet against that, considering how close the drivers are back here. One wrong mistake could cost him. If Bezier gets a little too aggressive on his teammate, that could easily trigger a safety car. But if they didn't throw a safety car for Jay's hard collision similar to Vettel and Kvyat back in 2016, I doubt a safety car will be thrown if someone actually does collide. So anyway, Smitty going to fall down to, I think, 11th here. No counterattack by Malik, so Malik's is going to tuck him behind. Scanny, though, going to have a good possible run here. Oh, and Scanny gets squirrely. That's going to allow Malik to get some time here. Scanny really trying to find the pressure in the car there, trying to find the points he can push, and maybe trying to gain a little extra time there. But sadly, just got a little too early on the power, but didn't lose too much time. Bezier makes a pass on his willing teammate for 10th, which I think Kenobi may have just let Bezier kind of go there, knowing that they're on different strategies. Don't hold them up. Maybe he can catch him. Maybe he can make him pass, as Bezier does set a purple sector 1, but then that may be more of a glitch. But Bezier is kind of fast, though, so who knows? Again, Lassie really playing the long game there. He's about to come off Sector 3 here in question. Well, keep an eye on the battle here, because Maddie could have a run here on Malik, so we're going to keep an eye on that. But keep an eye on the bottom of your map there, around the last couple corners of Sector 3. That would be turn 16 and 17. We'll see if Les decides to come in here and question. No, he's not. He's staying out another lap. But anyway, battle back here for 8th here. Looks like Malik may have a lunge here on Scanny. Will he do it? He'll have to back it down. Doesn't want to possibly end up putting his car in an uncarious position. So yeah, this is our main battle on track here. Reds is currently 3 seconds ahead of Will. Will is about 11 seconds ahead of Connor. And Connor's 2 seconds ahead of Berto. So this pack here will probably catch Connor but it's highly unlikely this pack will catch Will, bearing Will falling off a cliff. So I think our top 2 is pretty kind of set, bearing a safety car or something neutralizing the field. But other than that, we'll have to wait and see. John Hader gets 3 seconds. Now I think Scanny going to possibly have a move here. How aggressive will he be? Again, you saw what happened when he took a very aggressive move on one AlphaTauri. Doesn't want to probably do the same thing to the other AlphaTauri, or else he'll be definitely going to the headmaster's office at the end of this race. As you think you see a move in the back here, is Beat by Vegan going to make a pass here, but actually I'm going to hold on with Scanny here. Scanny going to possibly make a lunge on the inside here. Going to try to hold it similar to Raikkonen both does. Can he make the pass happen? It's going to be still by side-side. And it's going to be side-by-side with Ryan Moore with Malik. Scanny going to try to lock it, kind of put the push on. Push just a little bit wide. And Scanny going to have the spot. But Scanny also has used a lot of his ERS in question, though. So Scanny really doesn't have any ERS left. He's at 8. And Beto's at 12. While Malik's at about 92. So I think Malik's maybe playing the long game here. And also, Maddie's about at 40, so it's interesting to note. So back to, we'll take penalties off screen here, because I think you've already seen enough of the penalties here. We'll update you as the race goes near the end. But we got Berto possibly having a counterattack on Scanny here. Will he hold it? Again, thinks about it, but just not going to make it happen there. But it's going to allow Malik possibly to make something happen. Malik almost runs to the back of Berto. So Malik going to be under pressure from Maddie. So Maddie going to try to make a move here instead. So Malik try to make a move on Berto, and it's one of my favorite sayings in racing, is that if you don't make the pass, the next driver will, and Malik almost hits the wall there, really squirrely, think something may have gone wrong with Tyra, and that's going to allow him to pass from Maddie to 7th, and that's going to allow Bezier to rejoin this fight here, and possibly make a move on the outside, not to make it happen. Yellow flag sector 1, that is 11 going a bit slow. I think it's either 11 or Zalek. Point is, they're just going a bit slow here, and they're just going to kind of just letting cars by, so it's no accident. And anyway, Bezier going to get past Malik for 8th, so Malik really made a mungle in that corner, and really trying to make a pass here, didn't make it end up that. Tried to make a pass on Berto, didn't end up working out. Bezier 8th, Maddie 7th, and Malik 9th here. Bezier going to try to possibly make a move on Maddie here in question, not going to make it occur. We got a big little accordion effect here, and they have now caught the back of Connor. But something else we're noting here is Will has lost 5 seconds to Red, so really Reds is putting in those quali laps. While Lesty still not pitted yet, so Lesty will have to pit sooner rather than later. Maybe he's on a set of softs, though. No, he's actually on a set of mediums. My mistake. He did pit under that safety car. So, he could try to stretch it. There's a world where he decides to stretch that. I totally forgot he pitted in the safety car there for a second. As well, on board here, I'll pan to that thought in a second here. Scanny's going to make a move here on the outside here. Going to make that move happen. And he's going to make the pass work. And it's also going to allow the AlphaTauri driver to make a pass there. Oh, and Connor and them almost touch. And Connor now on those hards sinking like a stone. That's going to allow Maddie to make a move. Maddie to make the pass. So Bezier's like, I'll take that 7th. Thank you very much. And he's going to make the pass. Almost make the pass. But actually he's going to have to tuck back in line. So Maddie 7th. Now it's going to be a flip-flop battle here. Bezier up to 8th. They're still side-by-side, wheel-to-wheel. Maddie 7th, Bezier 8th. Maddie's just going to tuck back in line, so Maddie was able to hold the spot, but now they're both probably going to get past Connor here in question. Here, definitely, but Bezier going to be probably impatient. They're both going to probably split him. Yep, they're definitely going to split him here. Can Bezier get a 2-for-1 here on the Haas driver? They're still side-by-side in accordance, and it looks like he's going to have the inside line here. They're going to be almost wheel-to-wheel here, and Maddie's going to have to go off the road there. And still going to hold the spot. He's actually keeping his foot in it there. Give props to Maddie. Maddie is really keeping his foot in and really holding it in accordance. And yeah, he's going to hold 6 for now. But this battle is far from over. I definitely think Bezier will get past sooner rather than later. But I'm going to take that thought. You're going to scroll out to the onboard action here. But something that's crossed my mind is Leslie maybe trying to play the long game here. Generally speaking, Leslie has not pitted yet. So Leslie pitted under that safety car. He's on 14-lap-old mediums. It's not out of the realm of possibility to assume those mediums could make, considering that the softs projected to go about 12, 13 laps. It's not totally unreasonable that the softs could possibly make it 24 laps. And considering that Scanny is 11 seconds behind Will, and Will is actually, now we got to pass here for Bezier. Bezier going to make the pass up to 6th. But, considering that Leslie is 3 ahead of Reds, and he's 7 ahead of Will. Now remember, he's also got 5 seconds ahead to his name, but he could get that 5 removed, depending on if he can protest or not. Who knows? We'll have to see the results screens at the end of the week. But he could get that time removed at the very least, or at least maybe reduce sentence. Obviously, this league does sometimes remove penalties, but he'll have to make a case for it, depending on when and where, obviously. But assume that 5 seconds is still valid. He actually is still holding as Berto's going to make a move here on Bezier. Berto's going to make a move on Scanning here for P4. But remember, Berto has 4 seconds with time pause. Scanning has nothing. Scanning's basically de facto P4 anyway. But if he holds it, generally speaking, he's probably not going to be able to... Scanning's going to make a move back here on the inside. But generally speaking, Lesty could make this work, as generally speaking, if he can make those tires work, he'll definitely end up losing the win. That's not going to happen. However, he generally speaking probably could hold off his teammate, at the very least, stay ahead of his teammate, or at the very least stay ahead of Scanny. I generally think if Berto and Scanny keep fighting, generally speaking, Lesty could be on pole for a podium here, or at least a second position if he decides to stay out. Makes you kind of wonder why he didn't serve that other 5 seconds on the second go-around, but different stories for different folks, and he'd actually be probably fighting for a P2. But Reds definitely will catch him, but Will is really falling off the back of Reds. So if he's still got somewhat good pace in those mediums, he could easily make this work. So Leslie, if you're listening, you can quote this. This could be a genius play if you stay out. I'll call you a genius at the end of this race if you hold this out, and you'll get my driver of the day. So keep on, Leslie, keep on. Anyway, Scanny and Berto still fighting here in question. We got a pass here for 10th as Smitty and Connor are fighting for 10th. Berto gets 3 from multiple warnings, add another 3 to his name in question. So yeah, Berto in question. I know I say in question, but Bezier definitely gonna have a pass here on Berto. But the problem is right now, what will hurt Lesty's strategy is if Bezier can get past Berto and Scanny relatively quickly. He seems like a pretty fast driver, and considering that Scanny's pitted on lap 7, while Bezier pitted on lap 12, yeah, he's definitely gonna try to hunt them down. He's definitely gonna get the pass done on Berto there for 6th. In question. Now going to try to set a move up on Scanny, next up line. Definitely not going to have it here, but Scanny does have a little more speed, so we'll be interested to know how quickly it will take to make that pass, as Reds is now about to be within a second of our leader. So, yeah. We also got, if I'm doing my calculations, we got 9 laps to go here. Oh, and Berto was very wide off exit there. That's going to allow Maddie to close the gap up a little bit here, and going to allow Maddie to possibly reel him in. Remember, Berto has 3. I think Bezier has 3. I'm going to take a quick look at the Padleys here in question. No, Bezier has 6. Berto's got 12. So, yeah, Maddie's basically de facto P5. And Malik's probably even P6. And Scanny's 4th. So, yeah, this is interesting. This is going to come down to a strategy call here. And I'm all for it. Love good strategy call races in this race here. And we'll see how it works out. But if a late safety car comes up, that could... It won't hurt. Actually, Lesty's pitting. Lesty, what are you doing, my friend? Maybe the mediums won't make it, but I still think he should at least tried it. Now he's going to serve that 5 seconds, though. But at the very least, he's now on for position, so definitely at least be able to pass Berto's. I think Berto may have been at Berto in the wall. Berto's looking at Lesty pitting, and Berto in the wall there. Pitts broke his wing. He's going to have to pit. Hits the wall again. That's race over for Berto. Oh, and he hit the wall. I think he almost sped in pit lane there. Yeah, just bad for Berto there. So keep an eye on Lesty. He's not even coming out of pit lane yet. He's falling like a rock. 8th, 9th. He's got to come out just ahead of Smitty for 8th. Interesting. And Berto's retired in the pit lane there. Yellow flag sector 1. Won't trigger anything. He's pitting the lane. Just a bad race for him overall. And we got a pass here for 4th and 3rd. My mistake while I was trying to figure out penalty strategy. Berto tries to go for a pass on Scanny. They touch wheels, and Scanny will hold spot. Again, Bezier. Not Berto. Bezier. Double B's there. Bezier. Not too thrilled about the happening. We also have, I think that's Exelic wrong way around. Yeah, they are wrong way around, and that's going to be a safety car. They have lost it, they have broken their wing, and that is going to be a safety car there. I gotta say, sometimes this game likes to throw safety cars if you're prolonged on the track too long, and it's out, couldn't get it refired in time. That will be a safety car, which will neutralize the field. Now the question is, we know Lesty's staying out. Lesty does not have to pit. He just came in. Will the top 7 decide to pit here in question to get a fresh set of rubber and just go for it to the end? Reds is definitely pitting. All right, that makes sense. Reds and Will are definitely pitting. And now Will kind of gets a mulligan here because now he's actually been saving his ERS, which is good on him. I hope he is listening because he's now saving his ERS, which is good. Now it's going to give him a chance to run for the win here. But the problem is, now it's going to allow Scanny and Bezier to catch up as well. So Reds is pitting for a set of softs. Obviously, will come out with the lead. Will come in second and probably will also pit for a set of softs. Scanny could make it on his mediums and is going to stay out. So he's going to stay out here. I'm going to try to hold for track position, try to hold on. Bezier going to come in for 4th. Obviously, he's got 12 seconds. Obviously, 6 seconds. Obviously, wants to pit. Kenobi staying out as well. Probably playing the long game. Lesty obviously staying out. Clearly, doesn't have to pit here because he's just pitted. Smitty staying out in question. So, Will is going... Reds is going to hold the lead because he had such a big gap. But then, Will is going to fall down to 8th. 9th. No, 8th. 8th. He's going to fall down to 8th. So Will is going to fall down to 8th here, and that just shows how much time he lost, which I understand him saving. Makes sense to save ZRS, but really bad second run there. That's going to cost him dearly. And now he's going to be 8th, and the one thing that will be a saving grace is that 7th, 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, all are on old tires. And if he's got speed in that car, as you saw by his second place pole run. And he's going to have ERS, so he can make this work and carve his way through the field. But Reds right now is probably smiling like the cat that ate the canary because he's got fresh rubber, he's in the lead, he's got clean track. The drivers behind him are on 12-lap old mediums, 8-lap old mediums, and 10-lap old mediums, and Kenobi on 16-lap old hards. 2 for 5 are going to play defense. Leslie the next one up on a fresh set of tires. Going to try to make quick work of it, but the question is how quick can he make this work? I don't want to snitch on Malik. But I did see AI pop above his head. I don't know if this is this league or another league, if you could pause under AI. So, I may be wrong, but, yeah, just worth noting. I'm sorry, Malcolm, I just accidentally snitched on you, but I just saw AI. Maybe it's just, I don't know. But I do think that rule's a little bit on the silly side, because if everyone paused on a safety car, at least into the last lap, hypothetically speaking, no one run to the back of each other and thus keep it kind of clean. But I guess if one car's going AI, they may go a bit slower. Beat by Vegan and Will kind of fighting for position here, but obviously Will has position. Bezier also on a fresh set of softs as well, but the problem is he also has 6 seconds worth of time penalties, so even if he cars his way up through the field, it's highly unlikely he'll make anything happen. He's just going to have to try to free fall the damage. Other than that, though, last points peg spot's definitely probably going to go to Demo here because Hater's got 9, unless he obviously crashes. But Hater's got 9, Connor's got 3, 11 has 21, Exalic has 3. So unless Demo starts racking up penalties like so tomorrow, it's a good chance Demo at least will get a top 10 out of this. One more question. I'm going to take a look here as we wait for the... we got one more lap in the safety car. I'm going to check the racetrack here. I like to do this sometimes. I want to see Reds and Lesty, see where they are in question on cutting. Reds, Lesty, and the other Red Bull driver, Will. So I'm going to keep an eye on the list here real fast. Reds already has 1, so keep an eye on the viewers at home. Reds has 2, actually. That's interesting, worth noting. Will has 1. So far, nothing for... Lesty, there's Lesty with 1, so 2, 1, 1. Reds obviously doesn't have another one popping up. I want to see if anyone else has. Berto's left the session. Bezier, 11, 11. Berto, 11, 11. Exalic. Bezier has a beat Vegan, 11, 11. Exalic, Malik, Connor, 11, 11. Hater, Malik, Bezier. Yeah, so Reds, here's something else worth noting. Reds has 2 cuts right now. One more cut in the next... When we get going, it'll be 5 laps remaining. If Reds gets one more cut, he's got 3 seconds added to his name. And Scanny and Maddie all have to do is hang on for dear life and they'll get him. Lesty and Will only have 1 cut to their name, so they can be a little bit more aggressive. But they can't be too aggressive because they get 3 seconds. They could fall in the clutches and not getting much from making the soft strategy work. So there's a risk-reward situation. How aggressive will you be to get this win? Because if Reds gets that 1 cut, Lesty and Will have the fast tire, and Will out-qualified Scanny. So Will has the pace in the car, and Lesty may not have as much pace as you could say the top runners, but is a good on strategy. He's a good strategy guy. While, again, Scanny, Maddie, Malik, and Kenobi all playing defense here, try to get some good championship runs here. So they're all playing defense. Defense. As the safety car is coming in this time by. Maddie could be the hero here, because if Scanny, you know how aggressive Scanny is on lunges. Reds likes to wait up to the very last second here. So if Will, if the last safety car with Reds and Will something to go off of, Scanny could be very aggressive going turn 1, which may give Reds a bit of a fright. So we'll keep an eye on the back here, hoping no one stacks up anyone else here in question. Keep an eye on the front, keep an eye on the back here. Safety car still has not come in yet. We got 5 laps to go. Get your popcorn ready, because this is going to be an interesting 5 laps here. Red's still not going in, because safety car's not in yet, so he still can't go yet. Has to wait it out. In question, no collisions in the back. Looks like everyone's giving himself some space here. Probably Lesty and Will getting a little bit antsy. Red's still not going yet. Waiting for the last corner here. In question, All right, Reds is going to go, still waiting. He's going to go very way to the line there. Does like waiting to the last line there. Looks like Scanny was on him, but Maddie did not get a good start there. Keep an eye in the back there. Looks like everyone else has kind of kept position for the most part. Keep an eye on this question. Scanny going to have a lunge. Scanny has to make the move quickly because if Scanny does not make the move, it's race over. Thinks about going for the lunge, but thinks better of it. We got a pass back there for 6 as Will's going for a pass on the Haas driver and will make it work. And then you got Lesty passing Kenobi like he's standing still in his hearts. Lesty the 5th, Kenobi, Will the 7th, and possibly going to make a move eventually to 6th. But Lesty up the 5th, Will the 7th, Malik in 4th, Maddie in 3rd. Lesty going to probably make a move here on 4th as well. Scanny already losing touch. Will's already made the pass for 6th. Both Red Bull drivers climb up from the field very quickly indeed. Lesty on the back of Malik. Probably wants to wait to the straight, but if he goes too long, he could be under pressure. Demo gets 3 seconds added to his name. Could now be under pressure from his teammate Connor for that last points paying spot. Bezier up to 7th. Lesty goes a little bit wide. Will already on the back. Passes Kenobi. Scanny has been checked out by Reds. Reds has pulled over a second on Scanny, so nothing really wrong up the front here. Lesty needs to make move quickly because if not, Will make the pass here. Will gets squarely off exit there. Will gonna make something happen. Will thinks something is gonna happen here. Will using all his DRS here on Lesty, gonna make the pass work. I'm kind of shocked Will's kind of fighting Lesty. Lesty's holding for championship points, but Will's going for the race win. Right now, they kind of have to stay in line here and just kind of make the passes happen as accordance. DRS won't be active for 3 more laps, though. So, Lesty just maybe backing off here. Going to be under pressure from Bezier. I'm going to kind of ride aboard the back here. Bezier can't make it happen here. We got battle here for her. Scanny is now 1.5 back, so Reds has really made those softs really work here. Maddie in 3rd, Malik in 4th, nothing up front here. Bezier going to make a pass on Lesty. Lesty's going the wrong way quickly here. Red sets a fast lap the race. Ella gets 3 seconds for multiple warnings. Bezier definitely going to have a lunge here on Will. But remember, Bezier also does have 6 seconds, so even if he does get past these drivers, he's just going to have to give them all right back. He's really giving Will the old push down the straight here. Gonna pass the inside here, but if Malik takes the inside lane, he could be under pressure for making this happen. Again, Bezier gonna tuck in line here. Gonna probably wait his opportunity to go. We got 4 laps to go here. As you can see, that Will's gonna have to get a move on now. Gonna pass Malik, and it's gonna allow Bezier to get by as well. And it could even allow Lesty to make a lunge here if he's bearing. But, oh, he is, and he just runs to the back of him by accident. And I hope he doesn't have too much wing damage there. I think he's okay. He may have very light damage at worst. Now he's going to go for a pass on Malik on the racing point, but he's going to tuck back in line. Back up to the back, not missing anything up front. Scanny has lost 2 seconds to Reds. That was his best opportunity to make a pass on the first lap. Lesty gets 3 seconds for multiple warnings. That is not what he wants to see right now, indeed, because now he has to pass Malik on track and get far ahead of Kenobi. That is not what he wants to see on the hunt right now. He has to get past Malik quickly, though, and make quick work of him. Gonna try to make it on the long straight here. Up the road here, we got Bezier. Kind of lost touch to Will. Will's already caught the back of Maddie for 3rd. Right now, Reds has to still play conservative because he does have 2 warnings. If he gets 1 more warning, that is going to put him in the pressures of maybe not Scanny, but if Will can make quick work of Maddie and reel in Scanny, anything is possible. Lesty tucking in behind. Back up here. Will still can't get past Maddie. Maybe waiting for the long straight here. If he's not patient enough, it's going to allow Bezier to try to jump on the inside here. He's going to be a little bit too cautious, and that's going to allow Bezier to make the pass for 4th. And now he's up to 4th. And Will is up to 5th, and now Will going to go for the tuck in line here. DRS is now activated. They're both going to try to pass Maddie very quickly here. DRS is open. And we also got probably Lesty down the road here, going to make a pass here. Question, going down the long straight here. Bezier going to make the pass on Maddie. Can the Red Bull driver follow suit? He's going to think about it, try to tuck, going to get on the inside here, going to try to go. You can see the back of the other Red Bull driver make something happen as well. Will up to 4th. Lesty going to make the pass for 6 on Malik. Lesty now with de facto P6. But considering time penalties, he may lose. Both drivers may lose out to Kenobi, which something Kenobi's probably smiling about. Maddie down to P5. Will the 4th. Bezier in 3rd. But remember, Bezier also has 6 seconds worth to know as well, so he'll fall as well. So right now, Will is your de facto P3. Scandy's 2. Reds is 1st. And Reds is 4 seconds clear. He is checked out. Things in the back here worth noting as well. Have to keep an eye on that because Scanny's probably going to get quick worked by Bezier, but we know how aggressive Scanny is, so Scanny may put up a very aggressive fight here to hold on P2 because he does have time, but Malik gets 6, so Malik's going to fall a little bit farther. Lesty's at least secured. He'll finish ahead of Lesty. Lesty will finish ahead of Malik. We got 3 to go here. Bezier going to make a pass using DRS here very quickly on Scanny. Scanny going to try to give him a little bit of a pinch here, trying to get him as close of a run as possible, but it's not going to be much tire advantage, and that, but Scanny going to try to hold the inside, and he's not going to be able to hold it for long. Scanny Scanny down the 3rd, Bezier up the 4th. Will next sets his sights on P2 here of the race. 11 gets disqualified for seeing multiple warnings. Oh, and Will gives Scanny a little bump there, going a little bit too slow for his liking. Bad race for 11 indeed. Too many cuts indeed. Will's going to make the pass for P3. Scanny to 4th. Red sets a fast lap the race. We got 2 to go here. If, and only if, Bezier and Will can get 2 seconds on Reds, and Reds gets a penalty, it's game over. Bezier sets the fast lap of the race. Beat by Ving gets 5 seconds. Lesty going to try to pass Maddie for P5 on the grid, but will lose the spot outright because of time penalties. Kenobi's actually lost dearly. So right now, doing calculations backwards in my head here, depending on the things in question, Reds is currently P1. Will is currently P2. Scanny's on the last step of the podium. Bezier is going to fall 6 back, and he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He'd fall down to P8 on the grid, but then you got to remember Lesty's behind him with 3. So, and then Malik has time penalties. So Bezier will probably end up being P6 or 7, depending on how far Kenobi can get up the grid. Then, but he's on a set of hards. Then you got Lesty. So I can tell you right now the top 3 now is Reds, Will, Scanny. That's top 3. The rest, Maddie will definitely be P4. But after that, if everything holds, it's going to be Reds, Bezier, Reds, Will, Scanny, Maddie, Bezier, Lesty, Malik is beat by Vegan. Has actually crashed on this long straight there. No safety cars, 1 lap to go here. So just kind of made a mistake there. That's not what you want to see. We got a possible overtake from Smitty. Kenobi trying to hang on for dear life, because if he can just stay close enough, he can get a couple free spots and get the last points making spot. But Smitty, no pressure. He'll definitely get the last points making spot because all the drivers behind him have time penalties. At the last lap has started here, question, Will has actually gotten past Lesty, has got to pass found Scanny, but that 3 seconds is really going to come back to bite him here, because without that 3 seconds, he'd be de facto P3 on the podium. Actually, no, he'd be P4 because, no, he'd be P3 because, yeah, Bezier, but that one mistake has cost him dearly, and that's going to make it fall. He's got to try to get as far as up the grid as possible, because he's definitely going to lose out to Scanny, and he's probably going to lose out to Maddie. But after that, he may be okay, because he's 3 seconds clear of Kenobi. So he's going to losing 2 spots. So right now, Leslie Twig is P6. Actually, P7. Yeah, P7. Actually, he may be we'll have to see. Screw it. We'll do the math later. Right now, Redzo going through the last couple corners here. Yeah, that's what you want to hear in my commentary, doing quick maths. But anyway, Smitty gets 3 seconds added to his times. Reds has still not put a foot wrong all day. After that second restart, safety car restart, he's done well. And bearing a mistake in the last couple corners, he'll be good, relatively speaking. Bezier, done fine, but those 6 seconds are going to come back to haunt him. And Will, as well, is done great for a debut race for a commentator indeed. But as Reds goes down the long straight here, going to enter Sector 3. As long as he doesn't cut it, he'll be good to go, because even he's 5 seconds clear of Bezier anyway, so he doesn't know fret even if he does cut it. So Reds going through the last couple corners here, not put a foot wrong all day, even though he's a reserve driver. If he could make the last 5 rounds, he could end up still winning this championship. So maybe this will be enough motivation for him to finish the season at the very least. As he goes to the last couple of corners, indeed, Reds is going to win his 2nd race in a row, and Reds will take home the win. And Bezier, same thing as last week, will cross the line in P2, but obviously will fall down because Will jump him, and Will will get P2. Lesty up next in line. We'll see if he slots it ahead. No, he'll finish behind Bezier. Scanny will get the final stop of the podium. Bezier will get P4, Maddie P5, Lesty 6, Kenobi 7th, Demo 8th, Malik 9th, Smitty will be your last points paying finisher in 10th, and that's how they will finish. Connor 11th, Hader will finish 12th, and Exalic will finish 13th. But yeah, that was a very interesting race indeed. Some drivers wondering what went wrong. Kenobi made a good recovery drive. Twig wondering what went wrong. Bezier could have had a P2 lock, but again, 6 seconds will haunt you any way you want it. But Reds will win his 2nd race in a row. And if he decides to call it quits, he's had a good end of the season, or end of a season 6. But possibly he may try to stick a little bit longer in, because if he stays a little bit longer, he can still win this title. There's still a chance he can win it. He just got 50 points, and actually got the fast laps. He got 51 points in 2 weeks. And considering that the top 2 of the standings are no longer active, he could easily catch close. But that is some food for thought for him. As we watch the celebrations indeed, Reds in 1st, Will in 2nd, and the 3rd spot going to Scanny. Scanny after that collision with Jay, but he could still get a 5-second positive for that collision, so who knows how this top 3 will finish. But we definitely know 1 and 2 are set on the grid, with Reds and Will 1-2. Scanny probably safe in 3rd, but we never know how the stewards will rule. Bezier 4th, Maddie's 5th, Lesty 6th, Kenobi 7th, Demo 8th, Malik 9th, Smitty 10th, Connor 11th, Hader 12th, Xelk 13th, Beat by Vegan 14th, Berto 15th, Jay 16th, and Trope 17th, with 11 getting disqualified, finishing P18. But yeah, that will do it for me here. As we kind of wait for the last couple seconds to finish out, I guess I will give you my driver of the day here today. Personally, I'm going to give it to... I want to say Will. I'm going to give it to Will, but I want to give like an asterisk to like another one to also Kenobi, because Will coming in as a rookie, getting a P2 for the day, great finish for him, good finish for him, and sets up sights up for possibly next season. But Kenobi also gets kind of a star for me as well, because after being the wrong way around lap 1 and being almost as low as 17th on the grid, able to at least get some points out of the day, keeping his nose clean for the rest of the race and getting some points of the day is definitely worth something in my notes. Even though it's not much, when you thought he was the wrong way around, you thought no points for him today, but yet he was able to recover and get some points. So good for the other Williams driver, indeed, and Williams definitely extend their lead in the constructors, while the points-paying lead of King will come down. But anyway, that will do it for me here today. I hope you enjoyed the Russian GP. Next week, same time, Monday, 8 p.m. GMT, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is the Japanese GP, and after that there will be 5 rounds remaining in this championship. Anything is still up for grabs here. All these drivers still fighting for the title indeed. Come back and join us next week, why won't you? And hopefully Eva will be joining me here as well. Hopefully he gets his internet fixed. But until then, I'm PepsiFreak212. I'm joined by no one else, so it's just me. So thank you, and good night.